preposterous! What could you lowly mortals ever hope to do? With my power as a god, I could bring endless bliss to all life in this world, to all life in the universe! With such power, I will not, must not be beat.
You are Buldur Ilvale. Man, not god.
I am.
How could one possibly know happiness in a world without sorrow to temper it? A world forged from single-minded devotion is ultimately the same as one empty of all.
No, stop that. Stare not at me with those eyes, mortal.
Buldur!
I will not be eradicated. I cannot be. I alone am destined to be your new god and leader.
Behind me, now.
Enough! No more of this! I will not be defeated here! I refuse!
What's going on?
Buldur's will endures and refuses to be erased. Should he continue to resist in this way, this virtual realm will be obliterated with all in it.
Buldur! Cease this at once! The battle is over!
Words are useless. I will do what is needed.
Please, no! My universe yet needs me!
Here we part.
What?
No!
I am unable to maintain your consciousness in this space any longer. With what power I have left, I will see you returned safely.
But what's gonna happen to you?
You possess the potential to both understand the Scorpium and guide them to an enlightened future. Through you, may the seeds of all evolutionary paths for life be sown. I place my faith in you.
Understood. Rest assured.
Laeticia, our journey together was a valuable experience. If there are others with minds as open and accepting as yours, a peaceful coexistence with Scorpium will someday be possible. Thank you, Laeticia, for affirming this for me.
Duma!
Poor dearest Duma.
My investigation is at its end.
Again, I wish we had more here. I really wish we had more.
Is it all over now?
I am inclined to believe it only just begins.
I would agree.
Nah, this is the ending.
Thank you, little Duma.
We are to be a protectorate, then?
Yes. As I mentioned before, Aster 4's prolonged contact with more advanced civilizations categorized it as a protectorate of the Pangalactic Federation.
Are we to be subjected to surveillance by an ambassador?
No, nothing quite as direct as that. Aster will remain under observation to prevent any unnecessary interaction with advanced civilizations until it reaches a certain threshold.
Pretty imperious, aren't you? Was that not where the Federation's faults originally lie?
Guess some things are hard to change. And though it might not exactly be compensation, All of you, who have been subject to intense intervention, now have the option to travel to any Federation system to live or study.
Studying on a different planet. I must say, I don't hate the thought. Right?
Agreed. But I must refuse. I vowed to attend to tasks on this planet using mine own strength. I've had lesson enough as to the consequences of progression that was acquired through the power of others.
That's true. If I studied medical science at such an advanced level, I'm pretty sure I could save lives all across the universe. But first and foremost, I want to treat the suffering people of this world with my own hands and using our own techniques.
Our journey into the stars must be one born of our own volition. Only then will we find ourselves on equal ground with you and yours.
I see. You know, you're probably right.
But then, what would that mean for us? You spoke of some preservation pact? Does it forbid us from seeing one another again?
Well, I can't speak for Marielle, but Elena and I aren't bound by Federation laws. We can come and go whenever we want.
All things considered, I can probably visit again too, so long as you are the only ones I interact with.
Well, that's great. I think we can all live with that.
Yeah, I mean, if it were up to me, I'd set up a branch of Lawrence Logistics right here in Osarius, and that would let us see as much or as little of each other as we could ever want.
Now is a time for restraint. Surely, the events here have opened your eyes to the importance of the Federation's underdeveloped planet preservation pact.
Yeah, I get it. But come on, you gotta at least see how hard that is on a personal level. Don't be so uptight.
I say this with respect to the positions of both Elena and Marielle. But, from my own view, I fail to find fault in Raymond's suggestion.
Wow, Albie, can't say I expected that coming from you.
Spare me. I simply speak for us all.
I wonder if my ancestors also felt the same way long ago.
Worry not. We have a tendency to be fine, after all.
You know, you're a lot more carefree now than you were before.
For that, I know who to thank.
Oh my, who could that be? Did we have someone irresponsible like that around?
Oh yes. At hand, I might say.
Oh yeah? Well, we both got jobs to do, right?
More than I care for, indeed.
If only some god would show up and free us all from the burdens of work life so we could just kick back and have fun.
Says the man bound to place his burdens on the shoulders of poor Chloe and Elena.
Hey, I've become crazy capable after all this. I'm sure they feel like they can just relax and enjoy the ride.
You are free to believe whatever you want.
Ray?
Okay, let's leave it at that.
Ray, this is the Aldous. We're now in geostationary orbit.
Copy that. Yep, best get going before this turns into another pick-on Ray fest.
It does seem about time.
This is Raymond for the Aldous. Commence transfer.
Like how Nina's still waving there, being like, bye-bye! Bye-bye! Still waving, still waving. Put your arms down, Nina, put your arms down.
(583) An unprecedented crisis for the Pangalactic Federation was resolved with the cooperation of the planets Verguld and Aster IV. However, the corruption which plagued the highest levels of Federation leadership continues to leave its mark on the organization. Amidst growing calls from Federation captains, my grandfather, Emerson T. Kenny, was assigned as interim commander of the Federation fleet. A retired military man, he refused at first, but after much pushback, he took the reins to lead the Federation from its worst crisis yet. Through these troubled events, I've come to question the Federation's purpose in this galaxy, as well as my own function as one of its officers. But I choose to believe that its cause is still just. We must ensure a future of peace. Pangalactic Federation Lieutenant Mariel L. Kenny.
The events that unfolded spanned numerous star systems. Though their sovereign was defeated, remnants of the centralist Scorpium and their invasive measures still remained. Those among the Pangalactic Federation who aligned with the Scorpium cause were on the run, but still retained their influence. To combat both these foes, my partner Elena, armed with data saved from Duma's survey, helped us hit the Scorpium network from their own colony. Duma's experiences and noble ideology had a profound impact on the network, and saw the remaining Centralists quickly weakened. And while everything might still be far from wrapped up, it shouldn't be too long now until the Scorpium find themselves on the right track. My hope now is that the Pangalactic Federation might find its way too. Captain of the Lawrence logistics ship the Aldous, Raymond Lawrence.
Proper credits now? Yeah, there we go. Let's try and remember when it was. I still fall down on this game being unfinished. It just has that feeling of like unfinished. I mean, I spoke about it at the end of Raise. Just this idea of like, it needs polish, it needs fixing here and there, especially with the frame rate. Still an issue. I tried different things to see if I could figure out what was causing frame rate dips. It just seems to be the areas. Simple as that. Like, I thought maybe because I'd left enemies around. Nope. That didn't seem to affect it at all either. It's just very strange, very strange. Like an area would seem fine for a little while and then not. Or you'd go back to a previous area that was fine the first time you were there. You go back, nope. Now there's frame rate issues. Depending on the chapter. Stuff like that. Maybe it's the amount of characters there. I don't know. There's just issues that really needed fixing all over the place. And they mounted up towards the end. And it started off so well. It's like I was so happy, so surprised by how good it was, and then oof, some of the things just fell down very quickly. Story-wise, that's really why we came back through Laeticia's playthrough here. That's the main focus of why we came back. As I said, I really feel like we needed more time with the antagonists. We needed to understand their story more. Sure, we were told bits and pieces here and there, but especially on Letty's playthrough, I feel like we could have had more Baldur stuff. Like there was an opportunity there. It would have been interesting. It would have been like, okay, so that's where that story aspect is. We got a lot about the Federation on Raise and what was going on with him. Fine, that's great. I want more with Baldur. And I don't feel like we got enough. We got a bit more. Just don't feel like we got enough to really elevate his story. Like, it's like, yay, he got to see his wife again. Yay. But I wasn't emotionally invested in that. Because if you're emotionally invested in a villain, that villain is really good. I never really got there with Baldur. Never really got there. I really wish we had more with Lola. I wish she was involved in the story more after she basically turned to our side. That would have been cool. There's a lot they could have done here. A lot they could have done. Whether or not we'll get another Star Ocean after this, I don't know. It depends on how well it does in sales. I hope it does well. Because it's why I have issues with this game. With a company that's sort of like on its last legs, there's no other way of putting it. I can see them trying. I can see them really, really trying. And I'd want them to get further. I want them to regain what I know from their past, from like what I know, like people have told me and stuff, like how good they were with the Star Oceans in the past. I might go back to them in the future. I don't know. It depends whether or not I've got time. Time is the major issue. That's the major issue. But yeah, I don't think I've got much more else to say that wouldn't just be me repeating myself when we're in Rays, really. It really was just analysing what happened with Letty's story. But obviously, we have one more part after this, which will be the character endings for Letty. But as for me for now, I'm going to sign off here. You can watch the rest of the credits if you want. And we'll see you in the future. Wherever, whenever. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. It's an interesting experience, But it's worth mentioning. After the character endings, which will be after this part, Yakuza Kiwami 2. We're finally going back to Yakuza. I mean, I've been streaming it for a while, but, you know, it's coming out on the channel. It's coming out on the channel. So, we'll see you wherever and wherever. That was words. They got away from me. Ta-da for now.
Our peace treaty with the Empire had been postponed indefinitely due to the Scorpium conflict. Yet today, discussions have concluded. I present the documents signed by Emperor Gerard.
Good news at last. And what news of my daughter?
Her Highness remained determined and performed her duties admirably. She did not back down before the Empire's new commanders. She also took great care not to say anything which may serve to undermine Emperor Gerard's position.
Is that so? No. Where might she be this moment?
Your Majesty, the Princess...
She claimed herself tired and parted ways with us, asking we not follow. Your Majesty.
Well, not much we can do about that. Perhaps I was in too much a rush to abdicate. These are times of peace. I best stand strong for her till she is ready. Now, Bertrand, Lola, I would ask you look after my daughter and I for some time yet.
Sir.
I am beyond exhausted. Oh, my shoulders ache. If only I could visit Nina. Maester Midas is always off somewhere. Albert and Theo continue their rounds about the kingdom. Malkia and Marielle both find themselves working through their own great troubles. And I scarce get to see Ray, Elena, and Chloe. How I wish to see them.
For now, I'll have to do.
You prove more strict than Albert himself.
Currently, Nina drains my pockets with her medical services for Colonel Valange. I cannot afford to lose this position. So excuse me if I take my work seriously. That being said, Princess Laeticia, His Majesty calls for you. Please make your way back to the royal city. There is much, much work that remains to be done.
I am working quite diligently, I'll have you know.